Hey guys, welcome back. It's Battle Spot Doubles number 3, a wild ride. So we're going to start off looking at the team we're going to be using today. It is a little bit different than last time. I did switch out the Zarina. We're going to try this Rillaboom. So we've got a team of Bisharp, Rotom Wash, Cinderace, Rillaboom, Goodra, and Braviary. Going to hit a couple of the highlights I wasn't able to hit last time. So pretty standard Bisharp set. Rotom, of course, we're using that Assault Vest, Electro Web, the Mud Shot for a little bit of speed control, also for that special defense boost. The biggest thing here being that Rillaboom. This is pretty much the same Rillaboom that I used in Players Cup with the Grassy Seed, with Grassy Glide, Acrobatics. Now I did change Knockoff to high horsepower so I could get the special defense boost while I'm Dynamaxed. I thought it had maybe a little bit better matchup against things like Dracozole and Incineroar, things like that, that I could probably take advantage of. Again, using two Defiant users, so Intimidate a lot of times isn't as effective against this team. And then, of course, with this Cinderace, normally I would use the Wide Lens if I didn't have it on another Pokemon. However, I did kind of get used to using this Life Orb on the Cinderace with Iron Head. High Jump Kick is very useful, but if you want a Steel type move, I think Cinderace can take advantage of the Iron Head fairly well. It actually does a little bit more damage than Bisharp with the Life Orb. And of course, using the Protect, which is a little different on the Cinderace, but I do like the options that it gives you. It can change you to Normal type to get around Ghost type moves. It can also just kind of give you a little bit of play with how you want to do some of that speed control. So we're just going to get into our first game here. As you can see, we're ranked 15 right now. 37 wins, 12 losses. So we're just going to try to maybe get as high as we can today. So our first opponent is number 55. They're rocking the team of Whimsicott, Duraludon, Terrakion, Incineroar, Rillaboom, and the Dracovish. So I'm thinking that they're probably going to either go with Beat Up, or this could be the Life Orb, Duraludon. It's a little bit of an offensive team. I doubt that they use Incineroar because we have double Defiant. But they might bring something like the Scarf Dracovish. So I'm thinking maybe it's kind of an odd lead here, but going something like Bisharp Rillaboom with the Seed. One of the big reasons that I used the Seed was I was kind of afraid of beat up tactics going into Players Cup. So Grassy Seed will allow Rillaboom to take any kind of damage from +4, like Life Orb, Terrakion, and then of course KO back with Gmax Drum Solo. So I'm also thinking Goodra. Goodra has a decent matchup against the Incineroar. It can kind of tank that Dracovish pretty well, and it'll put some pressure on the Rillaboom. I think for the last one, we'd probably go Braviary. It has the fighting move with close combat to go into the Duraludon. Also a little bit of speed if I can get some speed control maybe on that Dracovish, if it is Scarf, something like that. I might be able to get an attack off before it attacks, which would be good. So let's see what they lead with. So it looks like they're leading with the beat up stuff. So it's good that I brought in the Rillaboom here. Again, Rillaboom is pretty much just set up to deal with something like the +4 Terrakion. Excuse me, I'm having to move the camera just a little bit, just readjust it. Thought it was a little awkward from the way I was trying to play. But yeah, with the defense boost and maxed, Rillaboom is plenty tanky enough to take this +4 Terrakion. So we'll see what we get here. So the Bisharp, I think I'm pretty free. If they go for beat up, then I just get a Iron Head off into the Whimsicott. I'm assuming it's Sash. So, okay, they switched out the Whimsicott into Dracovish, it looks like. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of damage with the Iron Head, but at least I'll maybe be able to put a little bit of chip damage on it. And we know that Terrakian's not going to have the Dynamax boost. So we see him Dynamax the Terrakian, and with the defense boost that I have on Rillaboom, he's not really going to do any damage to that. So I'm just assuming that he's going to probably max Knuckle into Bisharp, which is fine. I have the Sash. So that'll allow me to set up a Sucker Punch into this Dracovish. This should just be a one-hit KO into the Terrakian in grassy terrain with G-Max Drum Solo. It's EV'd to do a little over 200% to base Terrakian, so it should end up taking out Dynamax Terrakian pretty well. So they're going to raise their attack on both their Pokemon. Okay, so we... Oh, wow. Okay, so it's a Rindo Berry on the Terrakian. That's an interesting tech there. Probably to get around the Rillaboom. Okay, so we didn't even do 50%, which means that that's probably a pretty bulky Terrakian. If it's able to take G-Max Drum Solo in grassy terrain, even with the Rindo Berry taking less than half. But at least we know that G-Max Drum Solo should pick it up this next time on the Terrakian. It might just be outside of range now because of the grassy terrain healing from something like the Iron Head, but let's see what we got in the back. So we got Goodra and Braviary. I think we might as well just go ahead and try to target down the Dracovish here. He might be assuming that I'm going to attack into the Terrakian, so I don't think I get a whole lot of Bisharp. This turn I can just G-Max Drum Solo into the Dracovish, so we'll just protect Bisharp and Drum Solo into the Dracovish. That should take it out, and if he protects the Terrakian, then that'll be really good. So let's see what he does. Alright, so he does max guard the Terrakian here. See who he targets with his Dracovish. If he targets the Bisharp, which I'm assuming, then we'll be in a really good spot here. Yep, so that's great. G-Max Drum Solo should just pick this up pretty easily on Dracovish. So I think that puts us in a really good position. We know that Drum Solo can take the Terrakian out. Another option that I've got, as long as I keep terrain up, I can actually target the other Pokemon this turn and then Grassy Glide next turn into the Terrakian. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. So I could just Iron Head here, but I think what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just maybe Sucker Punch just in case he does go for the beat up. Again, I haven't taken any damage on Rillaboom yet, so I will be able to survive +4, but because he lost the Dracovish, it'll be +3 beat up. So we'll just go Sucker Punch. Yep. So he did go for the beat up, it looks like. And then we'll just max air into the Whimsicott to get that speed advantage here on the Terrakian and whatever he has in the back. So we get to see the long animation of beat up. So if you want to leave in the comments what your thoughts on beat up are, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger part of the meta going into the Players' Cup, but it seems like it's maybe not as large. Yep, so +3 does just a little over half to Rillaboom, so it's not big at all. And we still have Bisharp, so that's good. We'll get the max airstream off into Whimsicott. He hasn't set Tailwind up, so that's really good. We have the speed advantage on him now. Plus I can just Grassy Glide into this Terrakian, depending on what he has in the back. But I definitely think Terrakian has a place in the metagame. Maybe not with beat up necessarily. I have seen a couple of like Sash coaching sets next to things like Dragapult, so they kind of throw you off because they look like beat up sets. And those are usually pretty good. So we see it's Incineroar here in the back. I'm just going to proc that Defiant on Bisharp, so that's good. He's probably just going to go for the Fake Out. I honestly could just double protect here, but I don't know that there's really a reason to double protect. I think if he protects the Terrakion this turn, I'll just go ahead and double it. If he protects the Terrakion and attacks either Bisharp or Rillaboom, then I can just KO the Terrakion next turn. But what I was saying is that Cobalion definitely, I think, has a little bit bigger place in the metagame for the actual beat-up portion of it, just because of its bulk, especially with the Assault Vest and its typing. It can kind of get around. It has bounce for the speed control. It does get access to Stone Edge, and of course Max Steel Spike to increase its defenses further. So I think that they each have their place in the metagame. The one that I would say I don't really has a place at all really would be Virizion, which is the grass type Sword of Justice. I just haven't really seen a whole lot out of it. I think I saw it maybe on one Sun team, but even then it really wasn't that good, honestly. So this will finish this game out. I still have Braviary and Goodra in the back, and +1 Bisharp, plus Rillaboom with high horsepower. I mean, they probably just cancel, honestly. Yep. So they were number 55, so we'll see where that puts us. We were number 15 before going into the game. Alright, so we're at number 12. So let's see who we get next. I think that last battle went as well as we could hope. The Rindo Berry was very interesting on the Terrakion. I definitely think it was kind of a cool tech, especially if you don't necessarily want to Dynamax the Terrakion every single time. It can take things like probably a Choice Band Grassy Glide. I know I'm not max attack on my Rillaboom, so I'm assuming that it could probably take something pretty close to that if it's taking a base 160 and only taking about 50% while it's Dynamax. So they also had that option of the Incineroar. I thought that was pretty neat. Just kind of supporting that Terrakion, which it did seem like it was a little bit bulkier. So our next opponent's number 3614. Okay, so they have a really interesting team. They have Boltund, the Dragalge, the female Indeedee, Dusclops, Excadrill, and Cinderace. So other than the Dragalge, I don't really know what they would want Trick Room for. I know I've seen recently some of these slower Excadrill with weakness policy bulldoze type stuff. I'm assuming this is Electrify on the Bolthound. I don't really know what I want to lead here. I'd like to go Braviary Bisharp, but I'm a little concerned about this Bolthound. Plus, if I go Braviary Bisharp, I mean, pretty much if he goes something like Indeedee, Dusclops, all I'm going for is Rock Slide and the Assurance probably. So it might be worth it just to go with something like maybe Rotom Bisharp, but I'm not sure. I'm just a little concerned about leading Rotom if this Excadrill happens to be something like the Mold Breaker, so it gets pretty close to a KO on Rotom, especially if it's getting paired with something like maybe the Bolthound with Electrify. Okay. So I didn't get my team picked. I'm gonna fix it again here, but hopefully I can see the time this next time that we play. So, looks like we're leading Rotom Bisharp. And unfortunately, he has the Excadrill and Bolttown, which I was a little bit worried about. Especially for Electrify type stuff. Okay, so we didn't see Mold Breaker go off, which is interesting. So it might be self-set Sand Rush Excadrill. Maybe it's a little bit bulkier. I'm going to kind of assume that. I'm just going to kind of lightly Hydro Pump here just in case. I just want to check, kind of see what he's got going on. If he's going to go for maybe the Electrify or what. If I can get a Hydro Pump off here though, then it will it'll help me maybe go for the Sucker Punch on turn 2. But I kind of want to figure out what this Bolttown's going to do. If it's going to Dynamax, if it's going to use Electrify or what. Okay, so we do see the Electrify go off. So that turns moves into electric moves, I believe. Yeah. That's an interesting use next to the Excadrill like that. Okay. So maybe I need to go Sucker Punch. I don't know if you go for Electrify twice in a row. Now that you've revealed that you have Electrify, I think you just go for maybe something like a Volt Switch, or I don't know if he gets like Eerie Impulse. I'm not really sure what other moves they use. Okay, so he just goes for the Electrify again. That's interesting. So, is he just going to go for the same move? Okay, so he goes for Rock Slide this time. Maybe going for a Flinch. Crit on Bisharp. That's not really anything. Okay. He's protecting that Excadrill pretty well. I think I'll pretty much just go for the Sucker Punch here. See if he attacks. And then I think Bolttown gets competitive, but with Electro Web, I'll at least be able to control its speed a little bit, so hopefully it won't be electrifying me all the time. I don't know what, I can't remember what Bolttown's base speed is. Okay, well they switch out anyway into the Dusclops. See the Protect come out from Excadrill. Punch is going to fail. So Electro Web's really not going to do anything to Dusclops. You might chip it down just a little bit. Yeah, they didn't do much. But I think that's okay. So I'm assuming that you switch the Excadrill out here because you don't want me to protect Bisharp and Hydro Pump into you. So probably what you're going to try to go for is just go straight for the Trick Room and maybe switch Dragalge in. Let's see what he does. It'd be a pretty smart play because he's probably assuming that I'm going to have to Dynamax one of the two Pokemon. But I've used this combo before, especially since he has some chip damage on him. Shadow Ball plus Assurance should pick it up on Dusclops. Okay, so that's going to be pretty close. It depends on how much defense EVs Dusclops has. Alright, well we pick it up, so that's good. They switched into Bolttown, which was interesting. I thought they'd go straight into the Dragalge. But we might end up just back where we were with Excadrill Bolttown. We'll see. Yep, he just brings the Excadrill right back in. So we're right back with the Electrify stuff. I think this turn I'm just going to protect. I'm going to scout out what he's got. Maybe he's going to protect with the Excadrill. And I'll just try to put maybe like a Hydro Pump into this Bolttown. Just put a little bit of damage into it. I'm assuming he's going to protect the Excadrill and try to attack the Bisharp. Maybe like a Thunder. I think they're physical, so maybe Thunder Fang. Something like that. Okay, so they switched out the Excadrill. Probably just trying to bait out the Sucker Punch there. That's kind of what I was thinking he'd do, something like that. And then I use the hydro pump into Bolt Town just in case he went for like Electrify. Okay, so he's actually Dynamaxing the Bolt Town, which is interesting. I don't know Bolt Town's full move pool, but I'm assuming he's just going to go for an electric move into the Bisharp. Just try to take it out. So Max Lightning. Okay, yep, into the Bisharp. It's not going to do too much damage. And then, I don't think Bolt Town's very bulky, so Hydro Pump should still do a fair amount of damage to it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Well, so Dragalge's interesting. It has the adaptability, where its stab moves are doubled. So it is a little weak on the defensive side. I don't have a whole lot that puts a whole lot of pressure on it right now. So I'd like to get some damage off onto it, maybe with something like the Sucker Punch, and then we'll just Hydro Pump the Bolt Town. I'm assuming he's going to go for another Max Lightning. Okay, so we see the Protect come out from the Dragalge, which is unfortunate. Yep, you're going to see Max Lightning go off again into the Bisharp. With the electric terrain, that's going to pick it up. 2 for 2 on the miss. I don't know that it really matters, but it is kind of annoying. We'll go ahead and switch the terrain out here. Switch it back to like a grassy surge here. So I do have the high horsepower, so if I Dynamax the Rillaboom shouldn't take a whole lot of damage from this Bolt Town. I can probably just Max Quake the Dragalge here. But I have an idea. I can't remember the speed of Bolt Town, but I think if I can lower Bolt Town's speed and then increase my speed by 1, I think that'll work. That way I'm outspeeding the Excadrill when it comes back in. Plus I'll be able to outspeed this Bolt Town. I'm assuming it's competitive, so he should attack before me, and then next turn I should attack before him. So I can just kind of double into this Dragalge here, and then next turn use the Max Quake into the Bolt Town. Okay, so he's going to take away my grassy terrain. That's not really a big deal. I'm not using any grass moves right now. So we're going to see the Electro Web go off. I'm going to lower the speed on both Pokemon. It doesn't really matter on Dragalge. We're just trying to put a little bit of damage down on it. Okay, so it is competitive. It's a Strong Jaw. Max Airstream into Dragalge. Okay, so that didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it chunked it down a little bit. I think if we had hit both of those Hydro Pumps, it might have put the Bolt Town within range of another Hydro Pump outside of Dynamax, which would have been nice. But I think Rillaboom, where it's sitting right now, we can just Max Quake into this Bolt Town and then Shadow Ball the Dragalge. Cinderace in the back should be able to pick up anything with the Excadrill with like Sucker Punch, or it could Sucker Punch or Iron Head the Dragalge for the KO. So I'm not too worried about that. Just go ahead and take care of this Bolt Town. If he switches out into the Excadrill, then we'll get a free attack here. Okay, so that's kind of best case scenario there, I think. Dragalge with the Protect. We do have the speed, so we will be faster than Excadrill when it comes back in. We do outspeed the Bolt Town here. Get the special defense boost, which is kind of nice. Get the special defense boost on Rillaboom, but you also get it on your Assault Vest Rotom. Just make it a little bit more bulky. So because they went for the Protect last turn, it's pretty free for me to just go Max Quake into the Dragalge here. And then I can just Hydro Pump the extra drill. If I miss, not a big deal. I can just use the Cinderace in the back. Okay, so Rotom hitting the Hydro Pump when it matters, for the most part here. Go ahead and take out the extra drill. And a Max Quake into the Dragalge. This should just pick it up. Yep. So that's the game. So sometimes you have to make the best of a bad situation. That's why I like to put my team kind of in order. Sometimes I'll put Braviary up front. Sometimes I'll put Rotom up front. But just in case it ever auto selects like that, I kind of know what I'm getting into. So we're top 10 now. That's great. Hopefully this next game we'll get somebody pretty good and we'll get closer to number 1. So I have made number 1 this month already, but it was on the first night. I was racing with everybody else basically to make number 1. So I made it, I want to say it was like 2 or 2:15 in the morning, and Eastern Standard Time. So because the ladder resets at like midnight Eastern, so. But I was trying to get Wolf, who was playing with the Jolteon team at the time, try to pair up with him, but I couldn't. He was just I think he was still in Great Ball tier when I was already in Ultra Ball. I was like the first one to Ultra Ball. So they have a team of, they're number 25, they have a team of Milotic, Whimsicott, Arcanine, Gyarados, Corviknight, and Rillaboom. So this screams Rotom Wash, but I kind of want to bring it in the back because I am a little bit concerned about the Rillaboom and a little bit concerned about Power Whip on maybe like Life Orb Gyarados. So I'm kind of considering just going straight Braviary, Bisharp, get some speed boosts up, Assurance, kind of push back that Arcanine's Intimidate. If it's Intimidate on Gyarados, push that back, but maybe Rillaboom. See, it's kind of hard because that Corviknight makes things a little bit more difficult because I do need like an electric or fire type move in the back if I go something like Braviary Bisharp. So I'm kind of considering Goodra Bisharp. It puts some pressure on Milotic not being able to use Hypnosis. I can use Max Lightning on the Gyarados, Max Flare or Max Lightning into Corviknight, and it has a good matchup on Rillaboom. So I'm thinking maybe Goodra Bisharp. I'd like to. Oh crap. Okay. So we're going the same way we just went last game. Again, this is why you put your Pokemon in the order that you think you might sometime need them. So I feel comfortable with Rotom Bisharp leads, but not into double grass like that. So I think I just have to switch Rotom right out here. The good thing is that because I have the seed on my Rillaboom, it is, I think, pretty straightforward. I can just switch the Rillaboom in here. Probably not take a whole lot of damage. He might go for Glide. So we'll just switch Rotom straight out into the Rillaboom. And it has a positive matchup on both of these because it has Acrobatics. I can Dynamax it, maybe get a speed boost, something like that. So not all lost here. It is kind of good that I've had Rillaboom in the back here, kind of backing up the Rotom a little bit. So we're going to see Moonblast go off. Iron Head into the Whimsicott. Going to proc their Sash. So let's see what their Rillaboom goes for. They didn't go for Glide, which I kind of thought that they would go for. So we see U-turn. It's interesting. There's quite a bit of damage for a non-stab move. I'm going to assume that's probably Choice Band Rillaboom, because that did a fair amount of damage. So, but we do know that Rillaboom's out now, so it might just be kind of a free switch straight into Rotom. See if it's Intimidate. No. Okay, so it's Moxie Gyarados. I think most of them are that way. So I think it's pretty free. I can bring the Rotom in. He doesn't get any boost from grassy terrain with Gyarados if he wanted to go for something like that. So I think pretty free. I can just go Max Lightning into the Gyarados. If he switches in something like Rillaboom, then it'll just take the terrain away. And I can get the Grassy Glide off first. Just try to finish this Whimsicott off. Yep, you're going to see the Gyarados switch out. Right back into Rillaboom. That's a smart switch by Boom. Especially if it's something like the Choice Band Rillaboom. It's going to put a lot of damage down on Rotom. I don't think, while I'm maxed, that Grassy Glide, even banded, should take Rotom out. But it'll definitely be close. You don't really want to waste your Dynamax like that. So, let's see. They don't go for the Tailwind. Get Grassy Glide off right into the Whimsicott, so that's good. And then we're going to just straight take the Rillaboom's terrain away so it can't glide. Yeah, okay, so that did quite a bit of damage. My other guess was that it was Assault Vest, but that, I think, did a little too much damage for Assault Vest. It does put it within range, though, I think, of an Acrobatics, so that's good. With the Grassy Seed, I should be able to survive something like a Max Airstream from the Gyarados, and then I can just Max Lightning into the Gyarados. With Stab and them having a 4 times weakness to Electric, it should just be a one-hit KO, depending on how they're EV'd and the item on it. If they go for something like the Max Quake, it might be a little bit closer. But I do have the Cinderace in the back, which has Sucker Punch, so that's good. So we do see the Max Airstream come off into the Rillaboom. Yep, Rillaboom's going to take it. So if they have Wood Hammer, this would be kind of awkward. Luckily, they're not in grassy terrain. But, okay, they're just going to U-turn. That's smart. That allows them to switch the Rillaboom back out, get the grassy terrain back off. So I'm going to go Max Lightning here into the Gyarados. I don't think that they have any switch-ins that are... Yeah, they have Corviknight. Yeah, none of their switch-ins are relevant. So Max Lightning should just take it out. And then again, okay. So that's definitely Assault Vest on the Gyarados. So I'm assuming it's probably something like Max HP, Max Speed, maybe. We'll just Max Lightning into Corviknight if he switches out. And Sucker Punch should pick it up from this range. Rillaboom has made using Rotom Wash kind of difficult. It was a big reason why I had switched into using the Zarina to stop priority moves. But I think using the Seed Rillaboom also has been kind of useful. I like Triple Axle on the Zarina, but Acrobatics can sometimes be a little more useful. Okay, so their Roost actually went off before the Max Lightning, which is interesting to note that their Corviknight was faster than Rotom. So my Rotom's actually not that slow, especially for the kind of supportive Assault Vest that it is. It's EV'd so that after Electro Web it'll outspeed things like Gengar and Durant and Terrakion and all that. Okay, so my max is going to end. So going off the premise that I think this is a banned Rillaboom, and I'm a Dark type right now with Cinderace, I think I have to go Protect. And just hope that they don't target the Rotom. And then just Sucker Punch next turn. Okay, so we see the Glide go off into Cinderace. Shadow Ball into Rillaboom. Yeah, I think you only make that play if it's something like banned Rillaboom. See the special defense drop on Rillaboom, but it's not really going to matter. Cinderace outspeeds Rillaboom, so I'm just going to go Shadow Ball and Sucker Punch. If people are wondering why I use Shadow Ball, it's kind of for the 1-2 punch with Assurance on Bisharp. Especially against something like the Amoonguss, I can basically just lower their defense. And, yep, so I didn't pick it up. See if Glide, yep. So, if it's not banned, it's probably Max Attack Miracle Seed. I mean, that did a lot of damage. Yep. So, against something like the Amoonguss, doesn't matter if they get like a special defense raise. All I need is the lowering of defense, and I can take them out with Assurance. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. Glad that we got to see those couple of games. Again, just a reminder that you want to have your Pokemon in the order that you think you're going to use them. Alright, so lucky number 7 in the single digits. That's great. Rotom did quite a bit of work. More than I thought it was going to do, especially in that last game where they led 2 grass types into Rotom, so that was a little annoying. But it's okay. Just tune in next time, guys. I'm glad that you guys could come out and watch another video. Hopefully, on the next one, we will make number 1. So, again, just down in the comments, just give me a like, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.